Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Couch Brotato Podcast. On today's show, Adam and I are joined by our very special guest, Steven, to discuss the 2018 heist movie classic, Den of Thieves, just in time for its upcoming sequel being released this weekend, Den of Thieves 2 Pantera. So you can check out our episode and then rush out the theaters and go see Den of Thieves 2 Pantera, or you can watch Den of Thieves, then listen to our episode, then go see Den of Thieves 2. However you want to do it, just make it a Den of Thieves weekend. You won't be disappointed. So without further ado, the Couch Brotato Podcast presents to you Den of Thieves.
The Federal Reserve.
The bank that's never been robbed. That's why we're going to rob it.
Gangbangers, these are not. They're addicted to heists. Sooner or later, they'll need their fix. You're not the bad guys. We are.
Friday. Make sure he knows it's home.
Well, I'm going to let you know now. Better wear your best. Anybody moves, you shoot. Do we look like cops who'll arrest you? Just shoot you. Boom.
Den of Thieves. Rated R.
All right, and welcome back to the Couch Brotato Podcast, a show where friends shoot the shit about their favorite movies. My name is Russ, and with me, as always, is my partner in crime, Adam, back from our winter break. How was Christmas and New Year's?
Christmas, New Year's was great. I feel refreshed, renewed, and ready to talk about movies. How about you?
Chaotic, as always. I've described Christmas Day as like a rock band on a world tour, because it seems like we start super early and we just keep running till, late in the evening. I think that they should extend Christmas to like the day after. There should be like a second day to where you can like, hey, if you've got kids, like you've got to put toys together. If you've got elderly parents or like relatives that are not tech savvy, you have to spend time setting up iPads, iPhones, what have you. Yeah. There should be like an extra day where you just like, okay, I can actually sit back and enjoy the holiday.
Yeah. Like one of those days that you have at the end of your vacation, just so that you have a day at home before you go back to work.
Right. Yeah. That's how it should be. It's just like the buffer day.
Right, exactly.
I mean, that's what Jesus would have wanted.
He rested on the last day anyway.
Right, yeah. So why not like make Christmas like an extra day? But it was good though. Sometimes though, to get to our movie of the week, sometimes there's a movie that I see a trailer for it on TV and I'm like, I'm going to pass on that. Looks stupid. Yeah. Or that looks like a cheap remake, or as we call it, the Dollar Tree version of a blank. And this, the movie we're doing today, I kind of felt that way when I seen the trailers for it when it came out. But then I caught some of it on cable. It was like on Showtime all the time. I mean, like practically they ran it like Showtime East, West, and regular Showtime. It was always on one of them for like a year straight.
Mm-hmm.
And then I caught it on there one day, and I'm like, "Why didn't I see this sooner?"
Yeah.
And when we did our Heist Movie Hall of Fame episode, I asked you and Steven, who was a guest on our show for that episode, that I wanted you guys to watch it, come back, and we'll talk about it because you guys had never seen it.
Right.
So we got Steven on the show today. And we're going to talk about Den of Thieves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen it multiple times. It's one of my favorite heist movies. I think, if I remember right, I suggested it for the Heist Movie Hall of Fame. I knew it wasn't going to get in, but I love it so much. But I want to get your guys' input on it because you guys have never seen it, and I always like hearing thoughts on movies that I love that I introduce new fans to. Adam, I'll start with you. What did you think of Den of Thieves?
So it was I feel like it started out at like 100. Usually movies like this are a slow burn at first, and then then they shoot off. This one just right off the cuff. I really liked the characters in it. I couldn't help but draw comparisons to Heat, though. Like it was beat for beat. It felt like I was watching Heat, but just like a different version of it. I tended to like some of the characters a little bit better in this one than in Heat. They're a little bit more likable because in both movies there's some slime balls on both sides of the aisle, but this one really had me going, and I really enjoyed the ending as well. Twist ending. I liked the ride. It was a really fun movie, and I kind of slept on it too. So I'm glad that you suggested it.
Yeah.
Steven, what did you think of it?
Yeah, same. I was asleep on it too. I watched, I knew about the movie from the trailers when it had its theatrical release, and then I have watched several clips of it. And so all the clips I like on YouTube, just watching scenes out of context of the movie. And I think the first scene I remember watching was, I think that scene where the 50 Cent's daughter has her boyfriend come over, right? And that whole intimidation scene, I remember watching that, and that really piqued my interest in watching the movie. I just never got around to it. And then when you highly suggested we watch it, I'm so glad I did. It's a great movie. And I like what Adam said. It's like not a lot of, it just starts out, it doesn't waste a lot of time on deep character development. It just gets like right into that. From that opening scene, exactly who the characters are, and it's I loved it. In fact, I have watched it 2 times, 2.5 times since you suggested it. So yeah, fantastic.
Oh, really? Also,
yeah.
did you end up buying it on? Because I know we were having some issues with my login to my Vudu. So did you end up buying it?
I saw, Apple TV had, I could just buy it for $5. So
yeah, it's been on sale for dirt cheap all week.
Yeah. Totally worth it.
I what you said, Adam, it is, and like I know, like when I was reading some of the reviews during the research of this movie, that seemed to be like what critics didn't like about it. It was they kind of likened it to a Heat ripoff.
Mm-hmm.
But like there's a lot of times where like famous like musicians or athletes, they for lack of a better term, like they model their game or their sound or their film after somebody else.
Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, if you can't come up with an original like story, and there's been a lot of really good heist movies that have come out in recent years, like Hell or High Water is really good. Inside Man's really good too. But if you can't come up with an original story, why not just try to put your spin on arguably the greatest heist movie of all time?
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, you can say that to a lot of movies too. Like a lot of movies pay homage or take elements from other movies, and I mean, the same happens for books or whatever medium that you have, or even music. Like music has, they'll borrow phrases from other pieces of music. So honestly, this is just an iteration of Heat, not really a ripoff, I'd say.
Well, I mean, too, they've also got they borrow a little bit from To Live and Die in L.A. 86, I think it's 86 movie with William Peterson, Willem Dafoe. I don't know if you guys have seen that one, but if you haven't, highly recommend that one too. And also, I kind of liken the twist ending to The Usual Suspects.
Oh yeah, mm-hmm.
So I think it kind of borrows from that a little bit too.
Yeah. So I guess it was completely unexpected for me anyway, also.
I'm going to give out the spoiler alert right now. This movie is about 5-6 years old, but I think not enough people have seen it to where we could just kind of freely talk about it. So I'm going to give you folks spoiler warning in advance. We're going to discuss the twist ending. So if you don't want to hear the ending, fast forward a couple minutes. And we'll get back to it. What'd you guys think of the ending? Because like, I did not piece it together at all that Donnie was the mastermind behind the whole thing.
Yeah, I had a sneaking suspicion at the point of when he was handcuffed. I was like, okay, something's happening with him. I feel like he was since he was the only one that survived besides his Hawaiian friend. I was like, okay, there's going to be some kind of end credit scene where he's getting away with the money or something like that. And then eventually, like right after they get to the car and it's full of just like the money confetti, I was like, okay, he has the money. At that point, I knew. I was like, okay, he has the money. And sure enough, he had the money. He made off with it. I didn't fully expect him to be the mastermind behind the whole thing, but I knew that he had mastermind something at that point.
Right. Steven, what'd you think of the ending?
Yeah, no, it took me by surprise. I same with you, Adam. I kind of realized like when he was in the car and then when he was gone, and I was like, oh, cool. He must have. I saw more as cool an opportunity where he was able to get out somehow and then swap the money out or something. But yeah, the end when it kind of reveals that his life as a bartender allows him to get information about all the information he needs to pull this off, and then just those quick scenes to show how he pretty much put all this together. I thought it was fantastic. And yeah, Russ, when I saw that, I also thought about The Usual Suspects.
Well, I sometimes I'll catch like these twist endings. There's sometimes where they catch me completely off guard. This one, like most heist movies, the driver is like kind of a minor inconsequential character, but I don't know why I didn't put two and two together. Like they're featuring Donnie pretty heavily in this movie.
Yeah.
And for the fact, I mean, I just put it like, oh, well, it's Ice Cube's son. So, and he's playing like kind of a bit, like since he's kind of a big name in this, that's probably why he's featured in it prominently. But when like they go back and they show you like, oh no, he's the one that's putting it together. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like I was completely blown away.
Yeah.
That made sense. I was, again, not having seen the movie and then realizing they were making a second one and then seeing the trailer, my assumption was, oh, okay, well, he must be in it because of the, who he is, like to have that prominent actor in there. And then when I saw the end, it totally made sense as to, I was like, oh, okay, I totally see why he would be a primary character in this new one.
I actually kind of figured it was because, he was kind of playing both sides of the fence in this movie. He seemed like he was talking a lot to Gerard Butler's team to get out of, getting hurt. And I was like, okay, well, maybe he's going to play the same kind of card with, the criminals. And I just figured, okay, he's gonna flip flop and be on the good guy's side at the end. And that did not end up being the case.
Right. I think that's what makes it such like a really cool movie to rewatch is it's kind of like piecing it together. Like, okay, they drop you these little breadcrumbs.
Yeah.
And actually one of my contender for a favorite line of the movie, like kind of like hammers this all home after you've watched it more than once too. So
yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm glad that you guys enjoyed it. Like it's such a fun movie. And like, I'm such a big Gerard Butler fan. Like anytime that guy puts out a movie, like I'm in, no matter I don't have a lot of high hopes for him, but they tend to, I'm usually pretty entertained, and I don't know why I think it just had the fact, to me, I just seen this as like kind of a knockoff of Heat. I think that's the only reason I didn't bother with it. Cause like anytime Gerard Butler puts something out, I'll fucking watch it. Like, he did that movie Greenland where the world's coming to an end. Like I was there. The Olympus Has Fallen movies. Oh, count me in.
Yeah.
He actually came out with one at the end of 23 called Plane, which was actually really good too.
I feel like he's the opposite of like a Seagal. Like he puts out whatever movie gets him a paycheck, but at least the movies are decent.
I kind of liken him to not quite as good as either one of these guys, but his like action movie style kind of is like maybe a Kurt Russell or a Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
Not quite on that. Like he's not as good of an actor as those two guys.
I feel like he's got a little bit of a different flavor than those two. Just like, yeah.
And I mean, honestly, if you think about it now, he's kind of, him and Denzel are pretty much the only two actors that are steadily putting out action movies.
Yeah.
Because I mean, most action now is going to like superhero movies, or sometimes you get these like franchises. But like the steady, this movie is going to be, we'll put this out, it'll cost $30-40 million to make, and it'll bring us back a profit one way or another. And that used to be a thing back in the 90s and even, early and mid 2000s. Like you just count on those steady. It's kind of like what horrors become now, like the reliable, like cheaply made movie that's going to bring you a studio profit. That's what action movies used to be.
Yeah.
And
that's what
Gerard Butler's kind of got that corner now.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
He is so imposing in this, man. Like if I saw him in real life and he like was in that character and had that makeup and had the physique he had,
I don't think that's makeup. I think they had like the director sat him down like, listen, they'd probably call him Jerry. We're a Hollywood based show, so we can call him Jerry.
Yeah.
Like sits him down like, Jerry, listen, like this character we wrote for you, Nick O'Brien, Big Nick. He's a bit of a partier.
Yeah.
Like I really need you. I need you to like nail this down. He probably had a Scottish accent said, no problem.
Yeah.
So they're probably 12, 14-hour days. He's going back to his trailer. He's probably pounding a couple bottles of, a solid whiskey, like maybe a Jack Daniels, maybe a Johnny Walker Red, something, something decent to good.
Even in that opening scene at the the donut shop, just the close-ups of him, I'm like, God, he looks freaking rough, man. Like they actually,
yeah. Grabbing the donut off the ground.
He grabs it out of the hot zone, or he tosses it in the hot zone.
Yeah, he says, "Oh, did I do that?" Yeah. Oh, I love it.
But yeah, within the first 5 minutes, I'm gonna like this guy.
Yeah.
Even though he's a piece of shit husband, we don't really. He sounds like he's a decent dad, but great cop.
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking like he probably he goes at it. Then 1 o'clock he finally passes out. Then 6 o'clock they're banging on his trailer door like, all right, Jerry, we need you on set. He probably just
no makeup.
Just runs his fingers to his hair and he's ready to go. And he gets a cup get me a cup of coffee.
Mm-hmm.
He's Big Nick looks like one of those guys that if smell-o-vision was a thing, it would smell like cigarettes and whiskey.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, that's a dude right there.
Yeah. That's a man right there. Yeah, no kid. I know there's a scene where he walks into the gun range, that really tense scene.
Oh, yeah.
Just a cigarette, and then he says, I noticed that I wonder if this was scripted, but as he's walking by
Merriman?
Yeah, Merriman. He just blows smoke right towards him as he's walking by, as that it's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I really like that scene.
Yeah, a lot of dick measuring in this movie too, between Pablo Schreiber and Gerard Butler. Found out Pablo Schreiber is the half brother of Liev Schreiber, the actor.
Yeah, I
did not know that until I was researching this. That should have been a sequel right there. Liev Schreiber should have been the villain. There's Ray Merriman, and then I don't know, Jim Merriman. He's the complete opposite. He has a 9-to-5 job, walks a straight and narrow. Then he finds out his brother gets killed and he wants revenge. That should have been Den of Thieves too.
There you go. That's the second movie.
Yeah, Den of Thieves 2 seems that they're going like they went from gritty crime to like now international, international heist movie. But I'm still going to see it.
Oh, when they dropped that trailer for it, like I stopped what I was doing at work and like, all right, I got to watch this because I got an email saying like Den of Thieves 2 trailer out. Now I'm like, well, nothing's getting done for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you guys ready to knock out some of these categories?
Let's do it.
All right. Well, if case you're wondering what in the fuck is Den of Thieves about, well, here I'm going to tell you. It follows the intersecting and often personally connected lives of an elite unit of the LA County Sheriff's Department and the state's most successful bank robbery crew as the outlaws plan a seemingly impossible heist on the Federal Reserve Bank of downtown Los Angeles.
That is what it's about.
And I thought that was kind of a cool, like with the heist itself, like I thought that was like kind of a cool thing to do. Like I didn't, now how true this is, I don't know, but I know that they shred money that's like kind of like beat the shit or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know that like that was the thing. Like they take so much of it a day and just shred it. And then.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's probably like a mix of, exaggeration, but with probably some elements of things that actually, actual processes that happen, I'd imagine.
Well, we might have to do that sometime soon. Rob the Federal Reserve Bank of Ohio.
Yeah.
All right. The Tale of the Tape, Den of Thieves is rated R, was released on January the 19th, 2018. Stars Gerard Butler, Pablo Schreiber, O'Shea Jackson Jr., and Curtis 50 Cent Jackson. Steven, you called him 50. It's 50.
I did. You're right, man. I don't know what I'm thinking.
You honky.
Yeah.
Directed by Christian Gudegast. Rotten Tomatoes score of 41% from critics and 63% from audiences. The critical consensus is Den of Thieves pays energetic homage to classic heist thrillers of the past. Unfortunately, it never comes close to living up to its obvious inspirations. You know what? Fuck off, Rotten Tomatoes. I think it does.
Yeah, no, I don't think I agree with that at all.
Might have to start using another critics measurement. If Roger Ebert were alive, we should do. Obviously, he'd be the guy, but he's dead.
Yeah.
So I have to.
And Rotten Tomatoes has been known to be paid for reviews too. So
yeah. Box office had a $30 million budget, made $80.5 million worldwide. Didn't win any awards, which it should have. I mean, it's easily a Best Picture contender. And you can currently stream this on Max.
Yep. That's where I
Or
saw it.
for $5 on Apple TV.
Yeah, right now, like Apple TV, Vudu, it's like their deal of the day for or the deal of the week for $5. I'm kind of upset. Like it's so cheap now. Cause like when I bought it after like they quit showing it on Showtime for a while, I paid $24.99 for it.
Digital version.
Yeah.
Yeah. I lucked out.
Yeah,
I
you
would have
did.
paid $29 for it though. If I'd have paid $29.99 for it, I'd have still been happy about it.
Oh, I mean, I'm not upset with my purchase at all. Like, it just like, man, like, well, it held out.
Yeah.
I got $5. However, I wouldn't have been able to watch it whenever I wanted. Although I noticed like when they put it on, they took it off of Showtime for a while. Maybe 2 weeks after I bought it, it showed up on Netflix.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
Yeah. That's how it goes.
did you know, these are some interesting facts and tidbits about the making of Den of Thieves. This movie was in development for 14 years. Christian Gudegast and a writing partner had a blind deal with New Line Cinema back in 2003.
Oh, wow.
The project was also supposed to be distributed by the now defunct Relativity Media, which I was reading a little bit about them. They went bankrupt twice.
Oh.
So,
Dang.
yeah, I remember them vaguely, but I forget who did distribute this. Was it Lionsgate?
I think so. Oh, no, I don't remember seeing the really long Lionsgate logo at the beginning, so probably not.
Yeah. The original cut was 160 minutes.
Looks like XTX Entertainment.
Okay. Which is I don't know if they're still around anymore.
I don't know.
Oh well. I don't give shit. Thank you STX for releasing Den of Thieves. That's your contribution to the world.
Yep.
Also, the original cut had a different ending altogether, which I'd be curious to find out what that is when they released the 25th anniversary edition of Den of Thieves, the deluxe box set edition, where it has 1 and 2, and you get the original 160-minute cut.
Yeah. I like it.
Gerard Butler and his crew are loosely based on a former ATF agent, Jay Dobbins, who consulted on the film. He also has a brief cameo in the film. He works in the bar that Donnie works at.
Okay.
Oh, just as a background character.
Okay.
Gerard Butler gained 25 pounds for his role, as recommended by director Christian Gudegast. Yeah, it shows.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder.
What's crazy is like, I mean, with as massive, as big as he was in 300, I feel like he's just a lot bulkier. And this,
he's jacked in this for real.
But he's not like 300 jacked, where he's like, like he's just like absolutely shredded. He's like kind of, I'd say he's kind of like how like when we would lift weights when we were younger, Steve, like we kind of just had a little bit of definition. We still had some flab to us.
yeah. Cause I mean, we were going to the gym, but we were still eating and drinking like shit.
Yeah. That's probably what Big Nick did, like he's hitting the gym at some point, but then he's polishing off, like he stops off at McDonald's and grabs like 2 Big Macs and he polishes it off with like wild turkey.
Yeah, no, I picture Big Nick doing bench presses with the cigarette hanging out of his lip.
That's how everyone should do bench presses, not just Big Nick O'Brien.
The only way to do it.
Although the film is set in Los Angeles, a vast majority of the filming took place in Atlanta to take advantage of the state's tax breaks, which I kind of caught wind of that when Big Nick visits his daughter at school. It's in fall.
Yeah.
And like it's kind of like you can tell it's fall because like the leaves on trees are either like completely dead or they're like red.
Mm-hmm.
Like that doesn't look like Los Angeles to me.
Yeah.
I've seen enough movies set in LA to know that that's not Los Angeles.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the last one I got, there are 4 UFC fighters featured in this movie.
Okay.
Max Holloway, John Lewis, Oleg Taktarov, and Michael Bisping.
Okay.
What kind of roles do they have? Just like background mostly? Or?
Well, Oleg Taktarov is he's the truck driver. He ends up being part of O'Shea Jackson Jr.'s crew that goes to London.
Okay.
Him and Max Holloway both. I'll be perfectly honest. Sorry if you're a fan of UFC and I upset you, but I don't know who John Lewis is. I don't consider myself enough of an expert in the sport to know who John Lewis is. And then Michael Bisping actually is the British guy that Donnie talks to at the end that works at the Diamond Exchange.
Oh, okay. The one, the customer. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense because he's big.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is, that character is big.
But that's all I got. There really wasn't a lot of behind the scenes, like tidbits. There's really no casting, casting news. It sounds like Christian Gudegast, like I want Gerard Butler, and I want Pablo Schreiber, and you can fill out the rest of the cast with whomever.
Yep.
Do you guys have any interesting tidbits?
So I had a couple, but not like, there wasn't a lot. Like you said, there wasn't a whole bunch of behind the scenes on this. So I did my normal thing, and I did my goofs that I caught. So a couple of the goofs I didn't catch while watching the movie. I actually I found these. One of them being that there's no federal bank reserve in Los Angeles.
Mhm.
So
fuck, we can't rob the one in Ohio then.
Right. There is one in San Francisco, but not in Los Angeles. So they would have had to travel a little bit. But and Montebello, where one of the crimes takes place, the LAPD wouldn't have any jurisdiction over because they have their own police. So
Okay.
that's kind of one of the things that I did catch, though, and again, for anybody who hasn't seen the movie and hasn't gone through the entire heist thing yet, stop listening, go watch the movie, and then start listening again. When they're going through their plan for the heist and they're going to steal the money that's like deleted from the system, and then they have to get it before it's shredded. The system for that is they actually delete the money from the system after it's shredded, because they need to make sure that it's shredded before they delete it from the system. So to even like completely undermine their entire plan in this movie. Yeah. But that's the way that the order of operations that it goes. So yeah, any IT or Federal Reserve System that's worth their salt would do it in that order, and not the opposite order like the movie does it.
Whoopsie.
And then a couple of the things that I caught. There's a subway train in the background of the Federal Reserve when they're underground. So that kind of reveals that kind of mistake there.
Oh, because of the filming location.
Yeah, there shouldn't be a subway train there. And then also when they're doing the shootout scene at the very end, again, go watch the movie if you haven't seen it, and then come back and listen. They're shooting at each other. People are going down. They're telling people to get down in the cars. There's a gas tanker there. None of the stray bullets hits the gas tanker. I find that highly unlikely. And I'm really disappointed that we didn't get a massive explosion, but that's okay.
Well,
No budget.
In defense of that, Merriman's crew are former Marines.
Yeah, that's true.
And
that's true. They would be a better shot. Yeah.
And Nick's crew, I mean, they're cops, so they have to be. They're not. They can't be stormtrooper bad.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. I just want one stray shot to hit it, though, so that we can have a massive explosion. It's the only thing that is missing.
That'd be a shitty way to end the movie, though. Like somebody hits the tanker, like everybody blows up. Like, well, there's the end of the movie. Just cuts right to the credits.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be super mad about it, but like,
I would have
a crappy way to end it.
If Big Nick got killed, I'd have been like, we wouldn't be doing this movie right now. I would have been like, you ruined everything that you built up to.
That's all I had. No, that's all I had. That was the end of mine. Like I said, I didn't have a whole bunch. So
I didn't notice it. In fact, I want to rewatch it to see if I can see it. But one of the things I've seen is that Big Nick's chest tattoo is inconsistent in some of the scenes. Like it'll be there in most of the scenes, but then there's some scenes where it should clearly be visible and it's just not there.
I was watching the same thing. I was watching all the tattoos to see if they moved. And I mean, I couldn't catch any, but I'm sure they do.
Yeah, so they said that. And then the other, I just thought this was funny. I know this is super nitpicky, but, given that Ray Merriman was a convicted felon, he probably wouldn't even be allowed to shoot in that gun range. Like he would not be able to own a firearm. Now, again, I get it. They're criminals, but the one thing is they're at a gun range, which my experience with gun ranges is they're pretty it's not like they take things super seriously. So it'd be super unlikely that he'd be allowed to shoot there.
Also, they just don't let any random Joe Schmo go in there like, oh, that guy's drunk. Go ahead and get.
Yeah. Big Nick walking in with the cigarette. I'm just like, it never happened. That would.
I like to see them try to tell him to put that cigarette out, though.
I wouldn't. If I just imagine I work there and my boss is like, "Hey, you need to go tell him to put that out." I'd be like, "I quit." I don't want to work here anymore.
Right. Well, he does that like at the scene where he goes and signs his divorce papers. Like he goes, "Call the cops." He goes, "I am the cops."
Dude.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's another scene that I just, and I think they did such a good job with that scene, like kind of showing the fear everyone had, especially the two male roles there, just how scared they were,
Yeah.
And I felt that. I was like, man, I'd feel the exact same way if I were in that situation.
Oh man, I felt so uncomfortable. Man, like that scene was the tension in that scene when you cut it with a knife.
Does his ex-wife, like, does she dump that guy on the car ride home, or does she dump him the next day? Because they're not after that, like they're not staying together.
Yeah,
Completely emasculated, right? Like that.
Yeah, he's eating his food. He's drinking off his glass of wine. Like that woman has lost all respect for that guy.
Yeah. I wonder, like, for that scene, if that, like, all that was scripted, or if they're just like, look, here's your goal. And then he just did a really good job of saying, okay, here's what I would do to emasculate. How's the wine? He takes his wine from him,
It could be one of those things where I think this is like the same thing with like the whole like donut scene. It's like they do like 7 or 8 takes. And then like Gerard Butler's like, I got one more. Let me play around a little bit. Let Jerry cook. And then he just completely comes up with something different.
Yeah. Let Jerry cook. I like it.
Let Jerry cook.
All right. The Martin Scorsese This Is Cinema Award for the best scene in the movie. I like to hear what you guys had before I introduce mine. Steven, what do you got?
I don't know, man. I really, really enjoyed the end, the shootout, the highway shootout at the end. Like everything, all the movie is like culminating up to that moment, And so I'd say for me, that's probably one of my favorite, like that. That's my choice for that category. I think that whole shootout scene was just, I mean, I was just like super drawn in. Yeah. So that was probably my favorite. And again, I tons of scenes in there I loved. But yeah, my favorite is probably the final shootout. Yeah. After the heist.
Adam, what'd you have?
So there's a whole bunch of little scenes that I liked. Like Steven, there's like just so many scenes that I could pick for this. But I'm going to have to say the end shootout scene too. It's just, I couldn't stop watching after that point. There was a point where I had some stuff to do here at the house before I like continued the movie. And that stuff ended up getting pushed to the back burner because I need to finish the movie.
That's the whole reason why we do this show. It's like when you get wrapped up in, like, that's the definition of the show. It's like you catch like part of a movie on TV and it's like you stop what you're doing to watch that. And then like next thing you know, it's like you're watching the movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Adam, I imagine your house, there's like a baby crying. There's a child crying. Chaos everywhere. Then you're just like, it's just the glow of the TV.
It's like, hang on a minute, babe. Yeah. Big Nick is about to take down Merriman and his gang. Give me a minute.
I got 20 minutes left. Just give me 20 minutes.
Tell you, like, sweetheart, please be quiet. Big Nick's about to shoot Merriman in the chest. I kind of cheated a little bit. I would probably say the best scene in the movie is from the time they get into the Federal Reserve till the end. All great stuff. Like that, where he's trying to, like, when they cut the power and then Donnie's trying to like shove those bags down there to the compactor as fast as he can. Like that's all like super tense. And like while Merriman and Ensign are like just sitting there pretending like, they're supposed to be playing like security guards. So they have to play it cool. But like all that up until, the shootout, which is really inspired by the shootout in Heat in the crowded street. Not quite as good as that one. Fitty doesn't look like he knows how to handle a machine gun. So that kind of takes points away from this one over the one in Heat. I would say that's probably the best scene in the movie. However, I'm going to give a very honorable mention to, I don't know, is it a Benihana's or is it just like a hibachi restaurant?
Yeah.
Yeah, some hibachi. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that scene's fucking incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another 10 scene too, you know? Yeah, 100%.
Big Nick just going for it.
Yeah.
We come here for the ass.
Yeah.
The food here sucks. We're here for the ass.
Yeah.
One thing I noticed about Merriman and his crew, every time they eat, they look like, or they're gathered around, like just having dinner. Like no one's having a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Super angry all the time.
They're just solid.
Yeah.
But that Benihana scene, or I'm just calling it Benihana's or the hibachi restaurant, that's fun.
Yeah.
That seems incredible. Like that's in the Merriman and Big Nick have probably 3 or 4 showdowns in this.
Yeah.
But that's probably the best one.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Like we're having dinner here, bro. And he's just talking shit about their football teams.
Yeah.
Even makes a comment to the Samoan guy, which I don't even think a guy was Samoan.
No,
I don't know.
It's like in actually, I think he's. I just know him as the dad from Shazam.
Yeah, that I almost consider him for the Dean Winters Award, but we'll get to that in a moment. But yeah, the Benihana seat's pretty incredible. Actually, I'm going to change my pick and go with that one.
Yeah.
Simply because like that's Gerard Butler's on another level on that in that scene. And like I don't remember people that I played sports against, but like he knew and he's like talking shit about like their football teams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like the poor hibachi guy, when he says their food sucks, I kind of felt bad for him. That guy's just sitting there doing his job and he just flat out says the food sucks.
Food sucks. I'm here for the ass. And then the stare down to those to their girlfriend.
Yeah.
And then Gus has to come over and calm him down.
Yeah.
And as Gus is doing it, he's kind of checking out the women at the table too. I noticed that when I watched it the other day. I was like, Gus is still like kind of checking out the scene too.
Yeah.
He's trying to be polite, but you see him kind of like glance over at Fiddy's wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm going with the Benihana scene, but I'm perfectly cool giving it to the shootout.
Yeah, we should probably give it to the shootout, but only because, majority. But I really like that scene.
I did too.
Yeah, that one's pretty good. But yeah, we'll give it to the I guess the finale, the escape and the shootout in the street. We'll give it to that. Yeah. The Andy Dufresne Get Busy Living or Get Busy Dying Award for the best or most quotable line from the movie. Circling back to what I said earlier, my favorite line is the one from Donnie, and it really hits you after you know the twist ending. Is when the guy in the bar is asking him how he remembers everyone's drink order.
Yeah.
He goes, lots of reps. I got it written down here. Lots of reps, man. I'm in complete control of my environment and people don't even know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it seems like just such a throwaway line when you watch this for the first time, but then like it kind of circles back around to like he was in complete control. He knew that Nick was tailing him. He knew that Nick was going to like assault him somehow.
Yeah.
And that's going to set this whole thing in motion. And it's such a cool line.
Yeah. That's one. It's one of those like, especially when they reveal the twist at the end. It's like one of those that like they replay that line. I'm like, it's like, because when he says it at first, it just plants a little seed in my brain, and then at the twist, and you're like, then it sprouts, and you're like, oh shit, yeah. But yeah, Russ, that was on my list. I was, there's a few in there, and that was one that I almost chose. It's not my choice though.
Okay, well, what do you got?
So and again,
please say it. The food here sucks. We're here for the ass.
Yeah. No, it's I don't know. I just thought it was really cool that the scene where they kidnap Donnie And it's like kind of that introduction. He's meeting them for the first time. And I think that's really a scene where you kind of learn about Big Nick and his crew that, yeah, they uphold the law, but they have no problem with breaking it to achieve their goals, you know?
Yeah.
And that line where he says, just reminds him that you're not the bad guys, we are. I don't know.
That was a cool line too. Yeah.
It's super cool. And yeah, I just put myself, I said, man, if I was in that position, that would scare the shit out of me to have a law enforcement officer not only kidnap me and put me in the situation, but tell me that. I'm like, man, I'm messing with people. It's like you're messing with people who are willing to break the rules, and they are protected under the role they play as law, you know, as people who are supposed to uphold the law.
Well,
and
too, he even says later on that he's not going to arrest him; he's going to shoot him.
Yeah,
so, like, they don't arrest people; they kill them.
Uh-huh.
And like that line gives me kind of like the Training Day vibes a little bit, you know?
Yeah. Uh-huh. My second choice, aside from that, the other one I was choosing between is when they're kind of before the heist happens, and they're at that bank, and they're kind of, it's a ruse to on the criminal side, where he says, I'm not getting cuffed up, and then Gerard Butler says, that's good because I didn't bring handcuffs, kind of like saying that I don't plan on arresting any of you.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really cool line too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I might watch that again when we're done with this.
Yeah. That's so cool, man. Yeah.
Adam, what'd you have, man?
So mine was kind of in line with yours, Russ. It was the loose lit sink ships. I don't know. It's just the fact that it was on the wall too, like loose lips sink ships. And it kind of hammers home like how Donnie was able to get all the information that he got. He was in complete control of his environment, but he also was able to listen to the people. And it kind of gets brought up at the very end too, when he's talking to the people that own the diamond place across the street. Like, oh yeah, that's the diamond place, right? And they're like, yeah, I work there. And it's like, okay, cool. And beer's on me. So yeah, I really like that line. Loose lips sink ships.
Yeah, it's fun. Some of the bartender friends I've had, one of the things they've always shared with me is like the amount of information that gets shared with them.
Yeah,
we shouldn't. Like, whether it's professional information or personal information or things like that. I think you just bartenders in a special position where you just feel comfortable, and people have to want to talk and get things off their chest, and a bartender just happens to be one of those professions where you just have the benefit of automatic trust for the most part, especially when you've been drinking,
Yeah, bartenders and like hairdressers and like barbers are like basically free therapy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Lines. Yeah. 100%.
So what are we giving this to, guys?
We have 3 different ones. I think one of us has to win.
I don't know. I'm going with Stevens.
Okay.
Yeah, I like yours.
Like after
yeah, I like yours, but I'm good to choose mine. But yeah, that the one you chose became the 2 that I was going back and forth between. I ended up going with this one just because, again, from the standpoint of, man, that is, if I were Donnie and I were in that position, that line would scare the shit out of me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like you're in a room, like these are supposed to be cops, and there's like, I'm guessing those are strippers or hookers. They're drinking. Gus is enjoying what looks to be a very delicious, like, chicken strip dinner.
Yeah.
I love that. Was even scripted. He just got that over from the catering table.
Yeah,
it's just like shooting.
Yeah,
all right, let me
go with it. Like, man, it did look good. I'm like, fuck, I kind of want chicken now. Yeah, I'm cool giving it the one you had, Steven. That's such a cold-blooded line, and like, yeah, I would be scared shitless too if I was a criminal.
I agree. We should give it to that one.
All right. The McLovin Award.
Oh, the McLovin Award. I think we actually have a soundboard for this stuff now. So
yeah,
McLovin.
Well, there we go.
Yeah, we're coming up in the world. The McLovin Award for the best supporting or scene stealing performance. I don't know. You guys got any nominees you want to throw out there?
I didn't really have one for this movie. A lot of people get ample screen time. I do want to give an honorable mention to Eddie the counter from the Federal Reserve scene, because I feel like if I had that job, that's exactly how I would be. I don't know the actor's name, but man, he pulled it off for sure.
Yeah.
Steven, did you have a nominee?
No, man, it was hard. Like say, it's like I don't think anyone like stole the show. Had like a scene stealing performance. I think they all. For me, I mean, if you're like gun in my head, you have to choose someone. I just really resonated with Donnie O'Shea Jackson Jr.'s character.
I think that he would have to be disqualified because he's like one of the leads.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I went with 50 Cent.
Supporting. Sorry, I forgot the category supporting. So yeah, I couldn't.
Yeah, 50 Cent was okay. Yeah,
I only gave it to 50 Cent for that scene where his daughter's prom date comes to pick her up, and then like him in the garage. Because like I have a daughter, Steven, you've got 2, Adam, you've got 2.
Yeah,
I'm totally fucking doing this when my daughter goes to prom.
Yeah, it's weird, Vin. You know, I think we're all been on both sides of that, right? We've been a date, the father of the boy who wants to date, right? Or some of us will be there soon. So yeah, I think it's just that cycle of life everyone who has daughters goes through. You know, you become,
Well,
yeah.
The problem with me like rounding up a bunch of my friends to do that is most of my friends are like me, are kind of nerds. So like I could see like Adam in my garage, like, bro, have you seen my Xbox gamer score? You don't want none of this.
Yeah. He'd be like, here, let me talk to you. I'd be like, what are you guys playing World of Warcraft at? Like, it's just a Dungeons and Dragons thing. What is going on out here? Yeah.
See that axe?
Probably for me, it's not intimidating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would be like, check out my letterbox, dude. You see the movies I watch, I will fuck you up. You do anything to my kid.
Yeah, they did again. And then the actor who played the date, man, I just did a great job of like capturing the fear that I personally would have if I were in that situation. You just walk into this room, you just see these dudes working out, and you're like, you know, it's one of those. And that's one of the things I noticed. He went from like a smile on his face to like a really sudden, like, oh shit, this is not a good situation I'm in, which is exactly, you know, how I feel like I would have felt too, you know?
Well, it made me think like when I seen that, like, fuck, man, my daughter's going to end up going to prom with some fucking jabroni just like this kid. It's just like, it just made me think like there's not going to be anybody good enough to take my daughter to prom. I don't care who it is.
Yeah.
Right.
If my daughter's date sees my wife and says, oh, now I see where you get your good looks from. Even though I myself have said that in the past, I do not want my daughter to date a boy who says that.
Well, Steven, your daughter out of the three of us is the oldest, so she's going to be going to prom sooner than Adam and I. So if you want to reenact that scene, like, give us a heads up, man. Like, I will totally, just for you, I'll cut this into a handlebar mustache to look even more imposing.
If we can do that and maybe get some, we can all get airbrush tattoos, like just really do it up. You know?
Oh, yeah. I'll do it. I'll wear a wife beater.
I'll have to get gym equipment for my garage because there's none of that shit in there.
Yeah.
So I'll have to,
and I won't shave my body hair. I'll just come rocking that. Like, Jesus, like he really does have an animal as a friend. But for that scene is why I nominated 50 Cent. I mean, he's not anything special. Like, doesn't have like super awesome performance, but like the line that he gives that kid, like, listen, like, it's been my job and my job alone for 16 years to be my daughter's sole protector. Now I'm giving that job to you. I'm like, oh, dude, that resonated so much with me.
Mm-hmm.
So for that reason, I'm nominating 50.
Yeah.
You're not going to hear any complaints from me, man. On board.
All right. So 50 Cent wins the McLovin Award. I was waiting for
the McLovin Award.
I am McLovin.
All right, we got to get better with those cues.
We do.
Maybe I'll just start. I'll create like one of those signs that you take to like wrestling events, and I'll just like when it's time, just like McLovin.
And then okay.
Hey, we're still working out the kinks, so we try out new things. Technical difficulties are going to happen.
Well, it's like Bonnie said, it's all about reps. You got to get your reps.
That's right. Yeah. So we're
got to be in complete control of our environment.
Yeah, we still haven't mastered that, like almost 200 episodes in, but hey, we're getting there. The Dean Winters, Who Is That Guy / Girl Award for the performer that you've seen in a movie, but you don't know their name.
Yeah.
Okay, so I kind of want to come clean on this one. I had one, and I feel really bad for it because he's one of the leads. But as soon as I saw Pablo Schreiber, I was like, I know that guy from something. I couldn't think of it, and I couldn't think of his name. And for a second, I thought it was because he looked kind of like one of the people that I work with. His name's Isaac. Definitely looks like him.
Jesus
I was like,
Christ, you work with a guy who looks like Merriman? All right.
But like, right.
It looks like.
But I kind of feel bad because he's a lead, right? So I should know who it is. It ended up being the fact that he is the Master Chief in the really horrible Halo TV show.
Oh, he is?
Yes, he is. Yeah.
See, I remember him from Oz, and he's also Porn Stash in Orange is the New Black. That's where I know him from.
Oh, yeah. Porn Stash. Dude, he is. You're right. See, there you go. That's the whole reason. So that's my person, but I feel really bad for it.
No. I mean, like, he hasn't been in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I get it. So, I mean, that's a good one. Steven, did you have anybody?
I did, man. It was Mo McRae who played Ensign, who was on the Gerard Butler's.
He wasn't Ensign. That's 50 Cent. Gus is who Mo McRae plays.
Oh, is it? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
My name's mixed up. Yeah. You're right, Gus. Yeah. It's one of those, I was like, I've seen him in so much. And I mean, he's been in a ton of movies, but mostly TV. And that call, I was like, I remember watching that movie. I was like, pause. I gotta it's gonna bother me until I know like what he's been in. So that was the character for me. Like I've seen him in places, but I didn't know who he was as an actor. So that's actually this is a cool way, and this is actually how I kind of discovered several actors, right? You just watch them like who, and then you start kind of looking through their filmography, and then I become a fan. And this has been the case with Mo McRae.
Okay. I was originally going to go with, I believe his name is Cooper Andrews. He plays the communications guy for Merriman's team. Which actually, if I was part of a team that Rob Banks, that's the job that I would want. Because you're not getting involved in any like shooting or gunfire. You're like a mile and a half, 2 miles away.
Go down, and I'm just gonna. Yeah.
The worst thing that can happen to you is you could fall off of a telephone pole when you're trying to tap into a phone line.
Yeah.
I was going to nominate him, but then upon my rewatch just a few days ago, I'm going to nominate the actor who plays Ziggy, the owner of Ziggy's Hofbrau, Eric Braeden. And for those of you that spent time as a youth, like whether you're under the weather sick or, during the summer you come in from playing outside and, you have to come in to get something to drink, and then your mom or your grandmother is watching the stories.
Got the stories on.
But Eric Braeden is best known as playing Victor Newman on the long-running soap opera The Young and the Restless.
Oh, okay. Yep. Yeah.
And he's only in it for like, you maybe see him twice, and he's only in there for like 2 minutes.
Yeah, I was going to say, he couldn't have been on set more than 20 minutes, You just get these out and then leave.
Well, forgot to put it in my notes, but he is the father of the director Christian Gudegast.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
But that's my nominee is Eric Braeden.
Okay.
that's a good choice. I like
Yeah.
yours better than mine.
Because I mean, let's be real. Like, he is like one of those actors, like, you know his face, but no one's gonna know, like, oh, that's Eric Braeden. Like, you see that guy in anything, like, oh, that's Victor Newman. I bet probably 50 or 60% of our listening audience thinks that that's his real name is Victor Newman.
Yeah.
So is that
No,
who
I
we're
think
going-
that's who we should go with. Yeah, because mine's
Yeah.
kind of like a lead, and yeah. So
All right, so Eric Braeden, you are the winner of the Dean Winters award for the actor or actress that I've seen him in something, but I don't know their name award. So congratulations, Eric Braeden. Hopefully that you put that award up there with your multiple daytime Emmy awards.
maybe we should get a sound bite on our soundboard of like mayhem, just like me, on that for
Yeah.
the Dean Award.
Do
Yeah.
you know who Dean Winters is? He's the actor in the Mayhem commercials, but he was in Oz, and he was the lawyer in John Wick.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that actor's name. Like, I remember him from Oz, had no clue what his name is. And then one day my wife was watching something. She's like, "Oh, that's Dean Winters." I'm like, "Who?" She's like, "That's Dean Winters." Like, he was in Oz. I'm like, that, like, I did not know that was his name.
I always called him the mayhem guy.
Yeah, he's always going to be mayhem to us.
Yeah.
Yep.
Most 2018 moment of the movie, there really wasn't anything that I
Yeah.
could come up with.
Yeah, same here, Russ. I couldn't there wasn't anything like usually with this category. I look at technology or just something that like speaks to the era. And I honestly, there was nothing that stood out to me personally.
One thing, and this movie didn't do it, but one thing that action movies do from this era, like the 2010s to 2018, like 2020 era, like this was 2018, it didn't do it because it didn't like hop countries. But action movies tend to put like filters on, like if it's, in the desert, they put an orange filter on it.
Yeah.
Or if it's in the Middle East, they put like a piss filter on it. Like it just looks yellow, They didn't do it in this movie. But like I bet you if they hopped countries, they would have done it.
Yeah. We'll probably see that in Den of Thieves 2, Pantera.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was really nothing I could think of, too. The only thing I could think of is the fact that this is probably one of the last movies that has become popular in the DVD cable network era.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, if this movie came out 2 years later, it's probably on Netflix. It might get, I'll check it out. It's like the fourth most popular movie on Netflix. You watch it and you forget about it.
Yeah.
You'll probably never watch it again. But if you're flipping through the channels on like cable TV and you see like nothing's on TV, but then you scroll through like Showtime East has, oh, Den of Thieves has been on for 45 minutes. I'll flip it over and watch some of it.
Yeah.
Don't really get too much of that anymore.
No, not a lot of subscribers to cable anymore either. So
Well, that's like most of the people that I know that have seen this movie have seen it through cable.
mm-hmm.
So,
Right.
I mean, that would be the only thing I could think of, but it's not really a great one.
No, it's
Well, thanks a lot, Adam. Thanks a lot.
well, I
You could have
mean,
just said, you just felt like, no, it's not.
I mean, it's there's not a lot of things that define this time wise, like a movie back from the 80s would like.
Yeah, it's still fairly new.
Yeah.
So, okay.
When you give it 15 years, I'm sure you'll be able to put some stuff out.
Well, when we do
Right.
the Den of Thieves again,
Maybe Den of Thieves is going to go like the Fast and Furious is become a franchise. So then we'll be able to do
Hey, you know what? Like, as long as they don't send Big Nick in outer space, I'd be all right with that. Den of Thieves 6. They're in like Dubai. They're trying to steal like something.
You're gonna have a car swing on vines.
Yeah, or like jump from one building to another.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Yeah, I am too. I'm not gonna lie, that was badass. I dug it. I liked it.
Oh, do you enjoy the Fast and Furious movies?
Oh, dude, I fucking love them, man. I love them more than I love the original one. Like, I liked the first one; it was good. I liked it, but the ones they make now, they're fully entertaining to me. I love them.
That's music to my ears, good man. Because we will. I want to do a Fast and Furious movie soon.
Oh yeah, oh man, yeah, I love them.
You just say which one, and when, and we'll do it. Anything except for the last couple. The last couple have kind of sucked, but
those movies got more cheese than Grandpa's Cheese Barn. Like that, they're so cheesy.
That's their charm, though, man.
Yeah, that's part of the charm, man. That's what I love about them. Yeah.
The Indiana Jones, it belongs in Museum Award for the prop that you most want for your personal collection.
Oh man,
yeah, this was hard for me because this there wasn't a lot like I can think of, and for me, like the only thing I can think of, just because I thought it looked cool, even though like it's complete, it's just a trope, right? It's like a thing that doesn't exist in the real world, like most things with movies, but. That jamming device from the heist. Every movie has this. It's just this thing that magically disrupts anything that allows them to do what they need to do.
Yes,
looked really freaking cool. You know, glue, glue, and I was like, that'd be a cool thing to have on your desk. I'd like that.
Yeah,
so that's my choice.
Adam, what do you have?
See, that's a good one. I don't think I can top that one. I was just thinking about like. What would be recognizable from this movie? That's probably the only thing. Other than that, like they got a lot of cool guns in this movie. I really like the saw that they put out at the end, like Merriman pulls out.
Oh, that was pretty awesome.
That's really cool. I mean, that would be my other pick, but man, that EMP device is just goofy, but it looks really, really cool.
I want Big Nick's leather jacket.
Oh yeah,
because I bet that thing reeks of like Jack Daniels and like Marlboro Reds. And depending on what day you get it from, maybe like a stripper. So
oh yeah, that smells like smells like Dreamcast from Victoria's Secret. You just get like a whiff of that.
Yeah, it smells like me from 2003.
I've always known when you've been to Diamonds.
Yep.
You can smell. Yeah. Like,
you can smell the Camel lights.
Yeah, you smell like Bath and Body Works and cigarettes. You've been in the strip club.
And Coors Light. Stumbling at 3:30 in the morning. So yeah, I want Big Nick's jacket.
Yeah.
Or that and the badge. Because the badge he pulls out to Donnie in the hotel. Just to complete the ensemble. The only other one I had is I want that or the box of bloody donuts from.
I don't know, Ross. That just made me think. You know, you always like hear like just you can get anywhere if you have like one of those orange vests on because people think you belong there.
Yeah,
I might just dress like a gritty detective, lieutenant. You know, just gritty, smoking cigarettes, and people are like, "Oh, he must be here for something really important."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, the difference between wearing like one of those orange vests and you walking around with a badge is that's against the law, good sir. I hate to see you get arrested.
I would probably be the one to be arrested.
Yeah, you'd walk in there. You'd walk into a convenience store, like, and then, like, sure enough, like 2 patrolmen come up there.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, to play devil's advocate, wearing an orange vest and trespassing is still against the law, and you can be arrested. So,
less than impersonating a law.
Right. True.
Oh, yeah, you wear the orange vest. Like, oh man, I was just cycling. I'm I plan a long bike
I
ride.
mean to be back here. Like, why are you back in the employees only like warehouse? Like, oh, I just wandered back here.
Listen,
I'm sorry.
man, I'm trying to find the bathrooms and somebody told me to come back here. Like, what are you messing around the safe for? I thought that was the door to the bathroom, sir.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
It looked like a urinal to me.
It's like, listen, man, I just come here to get, you guys had the new flavor of Lay's potato chips, and I was told this is where they're at. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. The John Williams Award for Best Use of Music in the movie. Nothing really. I mean, the score's okay. I mean, Everlast, What It's Like is played in it, but it's like,
I mean, it's
nice little.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about that song in a while. Yeah, so it was nice to hear. But yeah, I'm the same, Russ. I didn't there was nothing even during the final shootout. I think there was a score there, but it wasn't.
Yeah, nothing super memorable.
I didn't add to the,
there really isn't a lot of good musical moments in action movies. There's a few here and there. Like the score in Die Hard is pretty good, and then the score in the Bourne movies is pretty good. But overall, you're watching an action movie for the action, not for the score, really.
Right.
Yeah. And that's one that in preparation for this, I was looking, doing some research. It was just there wasn't even I didn't expect there would be one from watching the movie, but there wasn't a person composing music for this. It was just, they just sourced music that already existed for the film. So,
oh, really? They didn't have an actual,
it's all different. Yeah, it's all different. Because if, usually if you go up, the score was by this person, there's no person listed.
Oh, so they probably just got online free use music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Found a bunch of samples. They just paid for what they were using.
Yeah. What is cheap to use? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so if any of you guys write music and put it up on the internet for people to use, may want to get a hold of the producers of Den of Thieves. You may be entitled to some compensation. New award here on the program. We tried this out. Have we done this one yet?
Yeah, we've done it once, I think.
Okay.
Yes, I think I've done it before. Yeah, this would be my first time.
Okay. Keep one performer, recast the rest of the movie with Muppets. So, Steven, who would you keep as the human performer?
There's a few. I think there's a few that would be interesting, but the one that I think I'm going to choose to throw my vote in would be funny to see Big Nick, with a crew of Muppets as his thing. And the same with Merriman, and then all Muppet henchmen,
Okay.
That's what I thought would be funny.
I had keep O'Shea Jackson Jr. and recast the rest of them as Muppets simply because I want to see a haggard, hungover Big Nick O'Brien as a Muppet.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think I'd like that. I'd imagine it'd be big, like Big Bird, just the puppeteer is tired at the, just how massive the Muppet would have to be.
This movie is a good solid 7.5 out of 10 for me, right as is.
Yeah.
But if I seen a Muppet hand throw a half-eaten donut into the hot zone, it would just amplify it to a 10.
Yeah. Yeah. Automatic. Yeah.
Just like you see that, that hand is just that.
Or to see a Muppet turn, I'm here for the ass. I come for the ass.
Here sucks. Here for the ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good choice, man. I like that one.
Adam, who would you keep and who would you as the human performer?
I think I would pick Gerard Butler as the human performer, and then everybody else is Muppets. I would like to see his grit, and his seriousness with all the other goofy Muppets. When I do this, I kind of liken it to Muppets Christmas Carol. So
that's so bad, and that's what's in my head too. When I think about it, I thought about it.
You need the serious gritty lead, and then all these goofy Muppets.
Muppet Christmas Carol, Couch Brotato Podcast Hall of Fame inductee for the Christmas Movie Hall of Fame which you can listen to on Apple, Spotify, or anywhere you get your podcast.
And we're starting the year out slow. We're way into our podcast, and that's the first.
Yeah, that's the first time you've mentioned it, Russ. Yeah,
the first cheap plug of the year, and it's hour and 13 minutes into the episode. So.
Man,
right, get your Russ in.
I could see that because I would like to see Gerard Butler break the fourth wall. Like, how fucked up am I? Like, there's nothing but Muppets in here.
Hi, Russ. Imagine the scene where he signs the divorce papers. Gerard Butler, all Muppets.
Just see like those Muppet heads. Like, come on, give me a hug. You'll save us a ton on therapy. He turns around, tells the other Muppet, goes, "Don't fucking touch me, or keep your fucking hands off of me."
That's awesome. Yeah. Which, by the way, I don't envision this ever happening in a million years, but that's if my wife were ever remarry, that's 100% the power play that I'm going to do. Let's hug it out. He puts his head in his chest,
Just
like,
that or the whole thing where you just make a complete fucking scene.
Wine. Oh,
how's the wine? How's the food? Just eat his food.
Yeah, just take his use his napkin, throw it on top of his plate of the food he's still eating. Oh.
Yeah, and then like she's just so fucking upset. Like he's like, just always a spectacle.
Yeah.
All right, good choices on those guys. The Hall of Fame award for career achievement. Gerard Butler.
Maybe not this one. 300, probably.
Yeah, I'd say 300 is probably his most well-known film role.
Yeah.
O'Shea Jackson Jr. It's this or he plays his dad in Straight Outta Compton, which he's actually really good in that too.
Yeah. I feel like his performance was better in Straight Outta Compton, but like if I had to pick like movie, like this was good. This is
like had he not done that, I would have hands down for O'Shea Jackson on this one. But yeah, I had the same kind of thought. Like, yeah, I think this is really like this is a great role for him. But then I did remember that man, he had that really cool role of his dad and Straight Outta Compton. So
Pablo Schreiber, I'd say yes.
Yeah.
I mean, Adam basically made the case for him. Like,
this is an awful, like, okay, he's not the worst thing about the Halo franchise, but like the fact that Master Chief doesn't take off his helmet, and like they're like, all right, we're gonna get every cent we can out of like what we're paying Pablo Schreiber, so we need to see his face. Like, and plus, like, it wasn't his performance, but just the writing's awful. It's just a god awful series. And then of course he's porn stash, but like that's not a main character.
Yeah, this is the performance. I like anytime like I hear his name, this is the first thing that comes to mind is this movie.
Yeah, he and then John Bernthal are a couple actors where they play these roles of badasses so well, but then it just seems like complete opposites of like what they're really like. Like when I see interviews of like John Bernthal or like they're just like they just seem like really nice people, And so to see him play a character like this, because I feel that way about John Bernthal. Like I would just assume that he's just a badass dude all the time.
Oh
and
yeah,
I'll see an interview and he's just like does not speak the way he speaks like his characters speak. He just seems like he seems like an artist, right? He's just a really artsy person, and that's the same way with because from this movie I was just really interested in. Let me just see some of the interviews he's done, and that's one like it immediately reminded me of John Bernthal because it's like completely different than what he's really like in real life,
I heard John Bernthal on a podcast, and before I heard him on the podcast, I always thought he was pretty much the character that he was in Wolf of Wall Street. Like that's his real life. That's him in real life.
It's the same with me, Russ. Yeah, just very like gruff and
a fucking dirtbag.
Yeah. But yeah, he's a very articulate and artsy person, and the same thing with Pablo. Try like some of the interviews, like when he speaks, you can just tell he's an artist, and it's it's kind of taken back by it because it's just such a dichotomy between like how I perceive him from the character.
Yeah,
I feel like that's a really big thing with a lot of different movies that I've watched. Like the more often I see a really evil or badass person in a movie, like just somebody that has that kind of swagger about them, or even just the amount of evil they portray, they're the nicest people in real life. Like during interviews, they're super nice, they're super like polite, and you just don't expect it. It is a dichotomy.
Yeah,
for sure.
What about 50 Cent? I'd say for movie performances, yes, because he's been in this. They did Get Rich or Die Trying based off his life, and I know he's been in some other stuff too.
Yeah,
but I'd say
it's not a career achievement, but like movies,
acting, I mean, say his career achievement's got to be that Get Rich or Die Trying album.
Yeah,
I think it was huge when it came out.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah, it's like what was that, 2012 or 14? I actually it was early. My brother was still in high school when that.
Yeah,
it's like 2008 or something. Man, the years are piling up on me. I can't remember, but yeah, I forgot how much in the cultural zeitgeist he was just so prominent during that time.
Yeah, I think that album was so popular. My mom bought it.
Wow. I can just imagine your mom like dusting, like find me in the club, just like humming it to herself.
That's her jam right there. You know, she's vacuuming the floor.
Just like humming it to
Candy
herself.
Shop comes on. It's just like get out of the room. Last one, Heist Cruise. Movie Heist Cruise.
Okay, so this is one in our wheelhouse, Steven, because we did the Heist Movie Hall of Fame, and we've done Ocean's 11 together. So, I don't know.
Because I think Neil McCauley's team from Heat has to be in there. Obviously, Danny Ocean and his team has to be on there as well. You've got Sean Merriman. There's a football player named Sean Merriman, and I always get him confused. Ray Merriman.
Yeah.
His team. Ben Affleck in The Town.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But I don't think Merriman's team quite makes the cut.
No, and
I agree with that, just because you realize at the end it wasn't even his plan, right? It
wasn't his plan. Yeah.
Yeah.
His team fails. Big eye. So
I'm just trying to look up best heist teams.
There's a podcast that you can listen to about that.
Well, that's best heist movies. We didn't have heist teams, although we do need to have that. I mean, obviously, Dominic Toretto.
Yeah.
Even though Adam hates the Fast and Furious movies.
I didn't say I hate them. They're just very cheesy.
Well, it's just, you hate them.
All right. Throw me under the bus. It's fine.
Just say it, and just admit it.
Throw me under the Fast and Furious bus.
Well, I'm still upset with you because you said my idea was, you're right. It sucked. Reservoir Dogs team, that's on there. The Usual Suspects.
Yeah.
The Inception team.
The Inception team's got to be like at least top 5.
Yeah. Suicide Squad. Inside Man. They're not really what I'd call the Italian Job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sneakers. Oh, damn, that's such an underrated movie. Have you guys seen Sneakers with guys need to do that. Watch that at some point. It's really good. It's got Robert Redford, Sidney Poitier, Dan Aykroyd, Ben Kingsley,
River
Phoenix, David Strathairn. Yeah, it's really, really good.
Sounds like a stellar cast.
It's 92.
Okay.
So yeah, but no, I can't put Merriman's team in the heist team Hall of Fame simply because they weren't able to steal the big one.
They die. Oh, all except the communications guy. But I mean, I don't even think even if they succeeded, I don't think they cracked the top 5. So,
I mean, Donnie's team was successful. They got away with it.
Yeah.
But still, I wouldn't put Donnie's team there either.
Maybe Pantera, they'll make the list.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I can't wait. I'm waiting for the Rotten Tomatoes scores to come out and say it's like a piece of shit. So I'd be like, oh, you just make me want to see it more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Last category, the Finding Forrester You're the Man Now Dog Award for the biggest life lesson taken from this movie.
Always be in control of your environment. Yeah.
Don't underestimate the bartender.
Yeah. That's a good one, man. One of the ones that I came away with is I always I think about the character Big Nick, and he could have easily been Merriman and his life gone differently, And so I think that's one of the things I thought is because he's essentially he's a bad guy with a badge.
Well, that's like one of the biggest things that makes this movie a lot like Heat is Heat. De Niro and Pacino are essentially the same person. There's that fine line that separates the two of them. And it's the same with Butler and Schreiber. Like they're the same person. It just
just
fine line that makes them different.
Circumstance, they just chose different paths. Yeah, but I mean, that's one of the cool things I thought about that is they could have easily swapped positions and it would have been the same story pretty much.
Yeah. That's all I got for tonight, guys.
All right.
Thank you for suggesting this movie, man. It's one of these, like Adam says, one I've been asleep on. I was like, oh, that looks cool. I saw the trailer. I want to see it. I just never made the time to do it. I discovered it through YouTube clips. And then when you're like, no, you need to watch the movie, I did. And my immediate thought was, I don't know why I didn't see this in theaters. I don't know why I should have seen this when it had its theatrical release and I didn't.
Same, man. I love when I can tell somebody to check something out and they come back to me like, oh, I watched what you recommended and it was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And
it was awesome.
Yeah. I was really because I was expecting this to go a completely different way. I was expecting he was like, well, it was okay, but
yeah, Heat was better. It's kind of like that thing, and I was just whatever.
So, to be honest, I thought I was going to think that because you said it was a lot like Heat, and I was like, I'm gonna like Heat a lot better. But it was different, and it was great. Yeah.
Yeah, I watched it, and then like I said, I've watched it again. The next day, I started just watching it again. And then I got halfway through it because I want to see that scene again. But then I'm like, well, I might as well just start from the beginning. Let me just start from the beginning and watch it again. So, and I'll probably this week watch it again. That's kind of I just do that. I get really into a movie, and right now, Den of Thieves is my movie, especially knowing that Pantera is getting ready to come out.
Well, I'm also proud of the fact that when I was watching this, watching it for this episode. My wife started watching some of it with me, and I started watching it late, and it was getting to that point where it was probably time for us to go to bed. So I shut it off. It's like, I'll finish it tomorrow. And she comes back next day. She's like, hey, we should finish Den of Thieves again, or finish the rest of Den of Thieves. I'm like, well, you liked it? She really enjoyed it, but then we tried to watch it on Max, but for some reason, Max has this stupid thing where, if you try to resume the movie, it just starts it back from the beginning.
Oh, that's yeah.
So we ended up watching it again.
We'll start it from here. That's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. She thoroughly enjoyed it too. So
yeah,
that's cool.
So yeah, I'm glad you guys enjoyed it.
Let me know. Do you have a date set for the second one, or like, are you going to see it?
I hope to go see it this weekend.
Okay. Well, I'll keep in touch with you because I also would like to.
Oh, done. Consider it done.
Yeah.
I need to introduce my 13-year-old son to it, so I take him too. Like, listen,
There you go.
Oh yeah,
Jack,
it's
come on
fine.
over here.
He's 14, and so he's like at that age where I feel comfortable. Like, hey, I think you would like this. Let's watch it together. Like I took him to see Deadpool. I was like, 14. I think he's mature enough to handle it. He loved it, and it was the coolest experience. Like,
Yeah.
And the whole time I'm like, anytime anything, like, there's a lot of sexual humor in it, and I'd like look over at him, like, are you okay? And he was just like, he's laughing. I'm like, okay, cool, we're good. We're having a good time.
See, like my 13-year-old son, like loves the fucking Terrifier movies, and we watched the third one. He'd seen some dude's dick get sawed in half.
Well,
So my son's well past Deadpool. That's like, can we watch Deadpool at like fourth period French? So,
well, I sent my Hudson also went to the same school your kids go to, so it's like it's always like anytime I want to introduce them to like anything with like strong language, I'm like, make sure you're okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've just given up. Like, he's gonna say it anyway. So
Yeah.
he's literally seen a dude's dick get sawed off in a fucking horror movie just a mere month and a half ago.
I like it. It's like ripping the Band-Aid off. Like, just do it. Just do it.
So I want him to watch Den of Thieves so I can just kind of rein him in, because he loves those Terrifier movies so much. Like, hey, there's other movies out there like cool. Like, this is completely different. These guys are trying to rob a bank.
Yeah.
Everybody keeps their dicks in this movie.
Yeah, there's no fucking chainsaws and dudes getting sawed in half. None of that stuff's in this movie. Of course, he probably will fucking hate it. Like, this movie sucks, Dad.
I will say this: there was in this movie, Den of Thieves, it was like this. You're rooting for both sides, right? And then so it's like it causes this conflict, because I'm like, oh man, no, I want Gerard. Like, I want the law to win, right? Because that's what's right. But then, like, during the heist scene, I'm like, please don't get caught. What I mean? Don't, like, because they did a really good job building up tension in that. And then I found myself going, well, I don't know why I'm rooting for them, because this whole time I've been. You
honestly think they are going to pull it off, because I mean, like, they're fucking good. They're really good. And you've kind of like built up this thing in movies over time. Like, they generally get away with it. I think Heat's the only heist movie I can think of where they really don't. I'm sure there's other ones I'm missing, but it's also 10 till 11 on a Wednesday night. But Heat's the only movie I can think of where, like, the mastermind of this crew, like, they don't get away with it.
Right.
Like, Val Kilmer is the only one that gets to walk away, but I mean, he's fucked up. He's wounded, barely hanging on. So yeah, I thought they were going to get away with it.
Yeah.
But then again, somebody does get away with it. So
technically the mastermind got away with it, but it's not who we think. So,
and hey, can I just say that O'Shea Jackson's whoever's dialect coach is, his British accent wasn't that bad.
Not hateful.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. I mean, it wasn't. I mean,
no one's ever going to confuse him for Ian McKellen, but he's not bad.
Yeah, he's not bad
compared to other fake British accents. I was like, that's not.
I've heard
compared
much
to Gerard Butler's American accent. It was pretty good.
You had mentioned that. I was like, there was a couple of times, like the scene where Gerard Butler, like, introduces himself to Donnie. Like, I'm like, is he speaking in his Scottish accent?
Yeah.
And I had to rewatch it a few times because I thought he was playing a character to get him to know. I was like, oh no, I don't think he's doing that on purpose. I think it's just
yeah.
But see, he's generally pretty good about, like, hiding it because he's generally like he plays American characters for the most part, and he's generally pretty good about it. So
Yeah.
I thought he was playing Scottish for the character but I was like, oh no. But the other thing is maybe it's, you just learn to hear for that, right? Especially hearing him in interviews. He's really got a thick, like, I honestly, I can't understand anything he's saying most of the time when he does an interview in his accent. I'm like, so that's maybe that could attribute to that. But yeah.
Well, fellas, I'm glad that you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I'm even more excited you want to see Pantera.
Yeah.
And Steve and I will take you up on that.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can clear some time and we'll fucking make it happen.
God, I'd love to.
And then maybe we'll come back and do Den of Thieves 2 Pantera next week.
All right. Yeah, that works.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up for today's episode. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky, TikTok. All those links are in the show description below. If you dug what you heard here today, please take a brief moment and leave us a 5-star review on Apple. We do appreciate it. You can also leave a 5-star review on Spotify as well. So if please take a brief moment, leave us a 5-star review. We do greatly appreciate it. Until next week, we will talk to you guys and gals later.